Hello, today's tutorial is on standing forward fold pose, Uttanasana. This pose stretches out the posterior chain of the body. It stretches out the calves, the hamstrings, the glutes, the back, and the neck. So let me start by talking about alignment and demonstrate this pose. So we're going to start with feet at hips width apart. This is a traditional alignment, and we are going to stay in Tadasana, and from here we're going to inhale and raise our arms above our shoulders, and exhaling we're going to bend forward. So from here we're going to keep the back as straight as we can as we bend forward, and keep it there until you can. Okay, so as straight as you can, and be sure to keep your hips above the feet. And as you reach for the ground, you're gonna make sure that you relax the shoulders, the arms, and the neck area, and just keep your neck neutral and relaxed, okay? Your hands can be by the sides of your feet. And Uttanasana. So let me first talk about very common mistakes in this pose. As you might have known, the one most common thing that you see often is where lacking in the mobility and the flexibility. In order to bend, students start to round the back way from the beginning instead of keeping the back as straight as possible while you lower down, okay? Eventually, if you're able to actually hug your legs, then your back naturally will curve, okay? But the thing about the back not curving, you're not starting to curve from the beginning, okay? Because that actually reflects that you need more flexibility and mobility. So in that case, we have to bring in blocks, and if you need even higher blocks, you can even put like another layer of blocks, okay? So the idea is to keep your back straight and to see if you can lower as much as you can with your back straight. And if this is where you're at, then stay here, okay? Without being rounded at the top, okay? So the same thing goes. If you feel too much tension anyway, still in the hamstrings, you can bend your legs very slightly. This pose is almost like downward facing dog pose, where you have to bend your legs as much as you need so that your back stays straight, okay? So if you're still rounded, if you're up here, try to see if you can bend your legs and keep your back straight instead. And from here, when you have your back straight, you can then see if you can try to straighten your legs out from there, okay? Another way to do it is to have your hands on your shin instead, as if the ground is too far away, putting your hands on the shin is a good option as well, okay? So, as you know, there's another Uttanasana variation that involves the hands on the shin or on fingertips, where you have to actually contract your back as you inhale and look up, okay? So this actually will reduce the amount of stretch you feel in the back since you're contracting the back. So that could help you as well. So, and about the hand variations possible in Uttanasana, the most basic position teaches you that you relax your hands by your sides. However, if you wish, you can even put your hands around your big toe and pull yourself in, but be relaxed at the same time, okay? Or even the version where you have your feet on the palm of your hands, okay? But those are more advanced variations, so I'm not covering them in detail in this tutorial. All right, so now let's talk about the alignment, the traditional alignment. As you might have heard, I mentioned that the feet are hip width apart, but you might be aware that actually it is possible to do Uttanasana with your feet close together. Like that, it just makes it harder, that's all. Okay? So, apart from the traditional alignment, it's always possible to work on a slightly easier or harder variation. It all depends on you. And if you need a block, hold on to the block and keep your back straight, okay? And try to keep your hips over your feet at the same time. And then if you can lower your hands to the ground, it's the same. Try to lengthen your spine as much as possible, and then eventually, if you would like more of a neck stretch and back stretch, you curl your neck in for that. And at the same time, if for some reason or another you might not feel comfortable with your feet hip width apart, you're free to experiment, okay? Just even slightly wider than hip width apart, because nothing is set in stone after all. It might make it slightly manageable for you, and so you could just try and see if there's any difference. So same, always inhale and then exhale and we go downwards, okay? And let's see if you have more space. If not, just adjust yourself accordingly, all right? Okay, and now let's talk about the feet, about the knees actually. From here, you're free to do Uttanasana with your legs totally straight, or you can even micro bend the legs. So this is the same for also standing postures. Decide for you what feels best for you. If you feel better in Uttanasana with a micro bend in your legs, then feel free to take it, as you would still feel a stretch anyway, okay? So micro bend your legs if you need, or keep them totally straight. Listen to what your body tells you, whether it feels good to you or not, and that is the most important part. Okay, so this is the end of this tutorial, and I hope to see you for in the next one. Please like and subscribe, and I see you next time. Namaste.